Hi, my name is Rome. Welcome or welcome back to Star Pages. Today I'm going to be reviewing this Golden Flame by Emily Victoria. This is the Fairy Loot edition, I think. Yeah, Fairy Loot edition. So this is the reverse just jacket art. Yeah, so I'm going to be reviewing this Golden Flame by Emily Victoria. I gave it 3.5 stars. Let me slow down. I gave it 3.5 stars. I think it was just like a pretty average read for me. I read it like I don't remember. I think I read it like last month or the month before that. I don't remember. But yeah, so the synopsis is, so Caris, who is orphaned and forced to serve her country's ruling group of scribes, just wants to leave the place that she's imprisoned at and find her brother, who was sent from that same place a couple years ago. And then on her quest to do that, she accidentally awakens a hidden automaton. But the thing is, though, automatons have been asleep for like 100 years, and this automaton that she awakened, he has a mind of his own. He's not like regular automatons who just like have to be controlled by somebody. He has a mind of his own and thinks like a human being. So now the people that now she's not only being controlled, no, she's no longer being controlled by the ruling group of scribes and the scriptorium. She is being hunted. So she, Alex, the automaton, and her best friend, whose name I don't remember, run from the island on a quest to find her brother, and then shenanigans ensue. Yeah, as I said, I ended up giving this book 3.5 stars. It was a pretty average read. I felt like the book was, it was just a little bit better than an average read. The most interesting thing in this book, in my opinion, was how the runes and the automatons work. I really like that element of the story, and I hope the author continues to explore the different systems that she introduced in the next book, because I know there's another book coming out. I don't know if it's a duology, a trilogy, or a series, but I know there's another book coming out after this. So I really like the pacing of the book. It was like medium pace. It wasn't slow and it wasn't fast. That's kind of what medium is, but anyways, it was more medium paced than fast paced. But there was no start and stop. You know how sometimes you're like, oh, the action scenes are medium paced, but like the calmer scenes are like a little bit slower. But no, the whole thing was like one pacing, even when it was like less action packed things, and that for me really helped this, because I said it was just a little bit better than average. So if it wasn't like that, I feel I would have put down the book a lot more. Yeah, so what the synopsis doesn't mention is that the book has pirates. Okay, so when Caris and her group run away, they don't have a plan. And that kind of annoyed me, because like, I get they were on the run, but like they ended up somewhere and they're like, what to do now? And I'm like, the girl, she was planning to find her brother for how many years, and she had no plan on how to do that. So I'm like, this seems like it's going to work out brilliantly. But anyways, so they run away from the Scriptorium Island, like the island that she and the best friend and the automaton was found. They run away from that island. They go on another island. They stay there for a day when they're like trying to hide out from the Scriptorium guards or something. And then they run into some pirates, right? And then that's where it gets interesting. But there's one major pirate character, the captain. She also became a major character in this book. And then her crew was also in between minor and major. So when Caris and Alex and Caris' best friend, who was training to be a guard at the scriptorium thing, but he was also an indentured servant basically, like Caris was. Yeah, so the pirates are one of the major reasons the plot moved, because as I said, Caris had no plan to find her brother. Alex wanted to find why his father, or like the guy who created him, is 100 years later now, since he's been asleep, is known by the whole world as a villain, because he's the one who made all the automatons stop working 100 years ago. So he wants to know why that happened, because that's not the picture he has of his father. And the best friend is just along for the ride, because you know he's Caris' best friend, and I'm like, that's cool. Yeah, so the pirates are the one who moved the plot along, because the pirates were like, okay, you help us with our thing, and then I'll give you the information I have on your brother. And then Caris was like, well, I have nothing better to do. And Alex wants some information from the pirates as well, but they want information from him. So that's what moved the plot along. So the pirates are a part of this rebellion against the people, basically the scriptorium and whoever's in charge, like the guy who's in charge of them. And then Caris, like at the beginning, didn't want to be a part of the rebellion. She just wanted to like do whatever the pirate people wanted to do so she could get information on her brother, but then eventually she was kind of motivated to like actually want to join, so she ended up joining it and wanting to see the end goal happen. So that's really the only reason the plot moved along. And like her brother, this girl, she said she remembers about him, like she was singing, say a line, and then I see it happen where she thinks about her brother, but this girl wasn't doing nothing to find her brother until like the end of the book. But let's not judge, okay? Yeah, so it could have been a negative thing for me since the pirates are mostly what move the plot along, but since I was actually interested in the pirates' goals and like the activities that they had Karis and everybody doing, I didn't mind it that much. Yeah, so the main character Karis, she was just okay in my opinion. I feel like all the characters were okay, they were well developed, they were pretty good characters. I just didn't connect with them as much as I usually do, and I'm not sure why. Like, there's nothing wrong with them, I just wasn't feeling it for this book. Yeah, hopefully that changes in the next book. Like, maybe we'll get some more information and like the relationships that had developed. Oh, Karis is a romantic, and I found that really interesting because I originally thought there was going to be like a romance between Karis and Alex, and I was like trying to figure out the semantics of that because, you know, she's an automaton, but like but then Karis is aromantic, and I'm like, that's pretty cool. And then there is a non-binary character on the pirate crew as well. Yeah, so back to the automaton and rune system that I mentioned earlier. The whole world in this book is basically run by the runes. Everything they do is controlled by the runes basically. So the automatons, they need the runes, and they need this like golden juice. I don't know how to describe it. This golden something that needs to be in the runes for the runes to actually be able to be activated. And then like other things, like in the country that Karis is in, they use the ruins mostly for weapons, but like in other countries they use the ruins for other things that we never really get that much information on because we get like a couple glimpses, but it's like not that much. But yeah, I'm interested to see, hopefully we see the ruins in the other countries work out. Yeah, so in the beginning when we were first introduced to Karis, we learned that she had taught herself a rune so that she could get the information on her brother that she wants, so she could move her non-existent plan along. But like when she ended up with the pirates, who had like a good amount of rune workers there, even from different countries. It wasn't only like her country's rune system. She had like there were other pirates from other countries who had like other rune systems that they were like masters of or whatever. And I'm thinking, okay, Karis is going to learn how to do runes. No, Karis completely forgot about the runes. She was like, oh, that's interesting, I don't care though. And I'm like, what? Okay, so I thought it was going to be a big thing because Karis, as an indentured laborer where she wasn't training to be a guard like her friend. She was like an assistant for the scribes. She would like put their scrolls back where they're supposed to go, and then climb up on top of the dead automatons and like write down the runes, because the scribes are trying to figure out how to reanimate the automatons, right? But yeah, so Karis taught herself the runes. She wasn't allowed to learn how to read or write, much less learn about runes. But she taught herself that, and it was like an intricate thing for that one rune, and she taught herself, and then she was pretty proud of herself. So I was like, okay, yeah, she's going to want to learn more about runes. No. I was so surprised. And then Alex, who is he's covered in runes in order to work, he has this connection with runes, so basically he just needs to sing or like do some kind of music or something inside his brain inside himself, and yeah, he gets the runes to do what he wants. And I'm like, oh, and then he basically becomes the pirate captain, who is like one rune system master or something. He starts working with her like whenever she needs help with the runes and the other rune people, because like it doesn't matter what system of runes it is, he can do it. And I'm like, okay, so Alex basically is what OG Karis wanted to be. That's what I'm getting here. So basically Karis's OG interest in runes is like a major part of Alex's character now. And now that Alex is there, Karis don't need to learn about runes. I'm like, no, in the next book, make her learn about runes. I want Karis to learn about runes. Maybe I like her then. Yeah, but that's really all I have to say. Like, the ending they ended up fighting this. I don't want to spoil it, but like the ending, after like a big drawn out scene for like a major fight, there was another major fight, but that was really rushed, and I was like, okay, this author obviously just wants to end the book, and I kind of wanted the book to end too, but that scene could have been handled a little bit better. And then there are a couple scenes that nothing was happening, and that was kind of the point because a big devastating blow had happened, but still, I didn't like that. Even when the pacing was going fast, I was like, I could just skip this. But I didn't because I don't know what's like. I don't, you know how sometimes there's like an embarrassing scene in a book, but because it's not like a, okay, so let me give you an side note. When I'm watching shows, I can't handle secondhand embarrassment that much. Like when something embarrassing is happening in a show, I get more embarrassed than the characters. So sometimes if I'm watching like a show, there are different tactics that I do. Sometimes I mute the thing and read the subtitles. Sometimes if it's too, but even if I can't handle the subtitles, I skip the scene and I go on Google and I read what happened in the I Google what happened in the scene and read a summary. Or like I just, you know, I'll have to figure it out. But like what the directors and the writers love to do is they put all this important information in those embarrassing scenes. So I don't like skipping over it. But like in books, you can't skip over because you don't know where it ends. And like it's a book, so you can't mute it. And like it's like reading subtitles, but it's so different. So what was I saying? Yeah, I didn't want to skip over because like suppose something important happened in one, like in a throwaway line, and then they mentioned it and a couple chapters later and I'm like, what are you talking about? But yeah, that's what happened. That's all I have to say really. Check out my description for links to a bunch of stuff regarding liking, commenting, and subscribing. Do what you want. Bye.